What is up, everybody? Sixers win Game 2 against the Atlanta Hawks. We are the Painted Lines. This is our post-game show for Game 2. And like I said, Sixers win. I'm with my boys here. I got my man Dibes to the left of me right here. Got my man Tiago, and we're going to break it down for you all. Glad to have you guys here in the comments. We got Pedro here with us, Ben here with us, Dunning. We got everybody. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Joel Embiid with a new playoff career high, dropping 40 on Atlanta tonight. Guys, how are you feeling? Let me start with you, Dibes. How are you feeling after this W?
Oh, let's go. Let's freaking go. This was the Shake Milton game. There is so much to talk about tonight. The Sixers tied up 1-1, heading to Atlanta for 2 games. Lots to be positive about. Doc made adjustments. I want to talk about Ben and Matisse. Joel was unbelievable, especially in that third quarter. My gosh, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
How you feeling, Tiago?
Yeah, man. When all else fails, you call on Shake Milton, right? You go through all week thinking about, you go all these thought ideas about how the Sixers can win. And at the end of the day, it's just put Shake Milton out there, and he's going to win you the game. So
apparently, and that has not been the case as of late, but apparently we got Quentin Moore in here saying, I still don't like Shake. Listen, man, it's the playoffs are crazy. It's so matchup based, so random, especially how our bench was. I mean, going into the second half of this game, our bench had 0 points. 0 points.
Insane.
And what did they end with? I'm curious now to go look at that. The bench ended with 26 points. So the bench scored 26 points in the second half.
Yeah. The Hawks bench scored 32 points in the first half. The Sixers had 0. The Sixers bench was a negative 40. At that time, in 6 quarters, the Sixers bench got outscored 66-23. And ironically enough, it was that third to fourth quarter stretch that gave the Sixers the victory, the W here. My gosh, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, we got Yams coming in here saying, I honestly think that we were all playing extras in a movie featuring Shake Milton and his miraculous comeback.
Yeah, Chris.
God, imagine.
Justin, Shake is on when he's doing a heat check, like halfway through the third quarter. It's like, it's a good night. It's a good night when he's just pulling up from, 20 feet. Like, it's a preseason game. You got to love that about him, man. You can't understand, how hard that is to come in cold in a one-possession game and kind of run the offense, man. Like, it's insane what we just witnessed. There's no other way to put it. The guy was unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Shake Milton ends the game with 14 points in 14 minutes, 3 rebounds and assists, shooting 5 for 8 from the field and 4 for 5 from behind the arc, a plus 15 on the night, the highest plus-minus off the bench, obviously, because it seemed like the bench could not do anything until he stepped on the court. So, man, it's just crazy. After seeing him, I mean, this comment says it right here. Oh, it went away.
My bad.
It's all right. The comment just said, he went away for 2 months, and then all of a sudden tonight comes back and just goes off. So that's bench players for you, man. That's bench players.
Just like we drew up, guys. Absolutely, 100%. And I just want to say, Shake Milton had 14 minutes there?
14 minutes, 15 points.
He had 14 minutes. He's had 14 points in 7 minutes. In 7 minutes. That's how unstoppable he was in that little stretch. His first 14 points was in 7 minutes, and then it became garbage time and all that kind of stuff. There was so much to unpack. We had a comment there where the Sixers really cut down on turnovers. That was one of my keys to this game. My other key to this game was Tobias Harris taking advantage of mismatches here in Game 2, unlike Game 1. It happened. We're going to talk about it. But I look at that Sixers defense here in the fourth quarter. The Hawks shot 9 of 18 in the fourth quarter in Game 1. They shot 6 of 10 from three-point range in Game 1. Today, 5 of 19 in Game 2. The Sixers locked it up on defense here. And the Hawks didn't get their first field goal with 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. You saw the Matisse block on Trae Young. Defense won this game for me, but I don't know where you want to go from there.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, the Sixers definitely played better tonight, holding the Atlanta Hawks to 102, below the average that the Sixers held teams all season at that 108.1 average that we were talking about pregame. Went from the Atlanta scoring 128 last game to 102 this game, and this game definitely looked more like the Sixers we have been used to seeing all season. Defensively, ended the game with 10 steals and 8 blocks in comparison to Atlanta's 2 steals and 5 blocks. Also, huge thing tonight was less turnovers from the Sixers. Last game, the Sixers had 19 turnovers, I believe. Tonight, ending with 7 in comparison to the Atlanta's 17. So I think that, to me, is the biggest key there. Sixers not coughing up the ball, and obviously Joel's 40 bomb.
I mean, that's their DNA. It's defense, right?
Yeah.
We talked about it all year. Fourth quarter crunch time defense. And I'll say this, like, you start watching Trae Young and his impact in the game, the Sixers are starting to win that chess battle, man. And I tweeted something out that I thought was really interesting. So if you go back to the first game, half number 1, he took 13 shots and he committed only 1 turnover. Half number 2 of the first game, attempted 10 shots and 3 turnovers. The first half of today's game, when he had Ben Simmons on him for most of the game, he attempted 8 shots and committed 4 turnovers. So you're starting to see Trae Young having difficulties with the Sixers' size, the Sixers' perimeter defense, and showing up on the fact that they're having him work more off ball now. So it's Kevin Huerter running the offense. It's Gallinari running the offense. They're starting to realize, like, hey, this is not going to be as easy as we thought with Danny Green on Trae. So I thought the Sixers won the chess battle tonight with Trae Young. They're starting to win that chess battle, and I want to see what that looks like going into Atlanta.
Yeah, Dunning says Young was shut down since the second half of the game 1.
I mean, 100%. He shot 3 of 10. All right, let's talk about it. He shot 3 of 10 in that second half. In this game, Trae Young shot 6 of 16, so 9 of 26 in the last 6 quarters from Trae Young. You talk about we talked about this during the pregame, Justin. You know, we saw it from the jump. Ben was on Trae, Matisse was on Trae, pretty much the entire game. And even when Danny got switched up on Trae Young, they had a plan: ice him, move him to the baseline, and they just did much better job rotating today, top to bottom. I thought defensively, not only on Trae Young. Before we I honestly want to give props to the Atlanta Hawks, to be honest, because I actually thought they. No, I got to. I got to. They're a good team, man. The Hawks are a good team, even with Matisse and Ben suffocating Trae. Their other guys stepped up and then some so many times in this game. This was as good as the Sixers came out of the gate. On a 23-6 run or something crazy like that, the Atlanta Hawks answered, and they're a good team. They're much better than I expected coming into this series, and I want to give them credit. But for me, when it comes to withholding Trae Young from getting into that middle of the lane, like, you really could count on like 1 or 2 possessions that Trae actually had a couple of chances in the open lane there in the middle of the court. The Sixers did a great job rotating. The Sixers did a great job with holding Trae Young and keeping him outside of the middle of the paint and feeding others alley-oops. Not enough credit can be given to Doc Rivers for adjusting there. And as good as the adjustment was for Matisse and Ben on Trae Young, even though I don't even know if I want to give him credit for that, because that's what he should have done in game 1. However, the adjustment to put in Shake Milton was probably the most unbelievable call I have seen, even though Shake Milton was dead to rights. Absolutely dead to rights these last 6 games. And he puts in Shake Milton, and I'm sitting there like, Shake freaking Milton? Like, I'm ready to run Doc Rivers out of town. Man, does he look good after that call. What a genius. He looks like a genius right now.
Chris, is
Yeah,
that
we got
a
the prodigal yams in here saying my low key player of the game was Thibault. Matisse Thibault was all over Trey. It was impressive. I also saw something earlier about where was it? Oh yeah, here it is. Grace says game 1, Doc loses the game for the Sixers. Game 2, Doc wins the game for us. Crazy. And a lot of that has to do with that. A lot of that has to do with the adjustments, like you were saying, Dibes, with Shake Milton all of a sudden coming in there when Furkan wasn't playing that well tonight, when Danny Green wasn't hitting shots at times, and Furkan as well. What did you guys see out of Furkan's game tonight? Because I honestly didn't see much from him. We got Steven in here saying Cork was just awful tonight, but he will do that at times. Was he exceptionally bad tonight? I didn't notice much from him today.
Did he even play?
He was on the court. He was definitely on the
court. I mean, they had that bench lineup in the first half, and they're trying to free up Korkmaz off the pin down screens.
Mm-hmm.
That works in the regular season, man. It's not going to work in the playoffs. Like, the guy's a spot up shooter. Put him in the corner and then get him off the court. It's just simple as that with Korkmaz.
Yeah, Mike you said she came in angry.
Yeah, I will say this, like, with Shake, man, like it's so hard to do what he did, and we got to give him so much credit for that because the Sixers really needed him tonight, and I didn't think Maxey had a particularly good game. I thought that he struggled on offense, and you could notice at one point that Doc was starting to get irritated with him on offense. He was holding on to the ball too long, and I think in the second half, he was just like, "Listen, I'm going to go with Shake and kind of see what we have there." So I'll give him credit for that, and to what Chris was talking about with the defense and all that, I think that, so much of what the Sixers want to do, what Atlanta wants to do is in the pick and roll, right? So you get Trey in the pick and roll, and you get that situation going. And I thought that, man, like Ben and Joel played that for the most part about as well as you can do. I thought that at one point Ben was playing the roll man off the weak side, which was really interesting. And at one point, Joel was recovering and blocking the guy at the rim. So I think you got to give him a lot of credit because people don't realize it's a lot of stress on Joel's defense to try to defend the pick and roll the way Atlanta runs it. And yes, he's going to lose possessions. At one point, Capella dunked on him. But overall, if we look at the performance, I thought the way that the Sixers defended pick and roll was exceptional. So give him credit. It's going to be a big key to why they're probably going to win this series the way they did that.
Definitely. I think this is a good question. I don't know who clicked it. I was going to click it as well. What about Danny Green? What are your thoughts on him? Danny Green tonight, 25 minutes, 5 points, 8 assists, so a good amount of assists from our guy Danny Green. 3 rebounds, 2 for 6 from the field with a block and 2 steals. 1 for 5 from the line from 3-point territory, but still a plus 12. And I think to me, and I've been saying this all year about Danny Green, the thing that I love about him as a player for this team is that even when he's cold, it's not like a JJ Redick where he has to be taken off the court and be someone who's not a plus on the court. Still a plus when only scoring 5 points on 25 minutes on a 2 for 6 shooting night with a 1 for 5 from behind the arc. So I love Danny Green's play. Tiago, what are your thoughts on him?
I mean, he's struggling. You can see that his shot, he just looks off balance. He's a little bit rushed. He hasn't gotten off the good start on both ends of the court, defensively and offensively. I told Chris this in game 1's post game. I think that we're going to have a moment in this series where we're going to have a Danny Green moment. So for folks who are like, no, we need to bench him and so forth, like I wouldn't go down that far. The guy's been here before. If you look at this career with the Spurs and even with Toronto and the Lakers, he's had stretches where he's gone really, really cold. But then at one point, he just explodes. So I expect it to happen in this series. I will say this, though. I am more concerned about Seth Curry's defense than I am Danny Green's. Danny Green got a lot of flag for game 1. But if you watch how Atlanta runs their perimeter offense, man, they're really targeting Seth Curry a lot through, Gallo and Herter. So,
yeah. So I think, and Dibes, do you want to speak on Danny Green before we move on?
Yeah, I'll let you speak on Seth, but quickly on Danny Green, like this was the quintessential Danny Green game. When Danny Green, when you give him a clear role, when you give him a better matchup, and when you give him the starting lineup, like he thrives in that situation. Unlike game 1, he should have never been put in that position. I do not blame Danny Green one bit for getting burnt and torched to a crisp by Trae Young there in game one. In game two, I know he didn't affect, like you said, Tiago, the offensive box score, but he played within the offense, and that's what you expect from Danny Green. That's all you can expect given what you gave up to get him and what we have seen this season. He was absolutely fine today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And to move on to talking about Seth Curry, first of all, before we get into his defense, his offensive night was insane. 28 minutes, 21 points in those 28 minutes with 2 assists, 8 for 13 from the field, 5 for 6 from behind the line, a plus 13 on the night. Obviously, offensively, a juggernaut tonight, making a ton of three-pointers and really keeping the Sixers ahead in this game for a while, going shot for shot with the Hawks, good three-point shooting on their end. To talk about his defense, I feel like the matchups for this series are definitely not as good for him just based on pure size if you're talking about their wing shooters in comparison to ours. Yep. I think when the Sixers eventually go up against the Nets or the Bucks, I think he does match up a little bit better, just because he's probably going to be a guy chasing around Joe Harris, who primarily stays on the catch and shoot. And if it were the Bucks, their shooters are a little bit shorter typically at the guard position. So I think in those series he might have a little better of a shot. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one, Dibes?
On Seth Curry?
Just Seth Curry in general, yeah.
So, if I could sum up game one for the Sixers, it was missed opportunities and just their true inability to gain momentum. There are so many times when the Sixers just could not capitalize. And when I look at game two, I think Seth Curry was a major component of the Sixers in major moments. There was a play in that first quarter where he found where Seth Curry found Ben Simmons cutting to the basket for a dunk. You had the building getting torn down. It was a major moment. There was in the second quarter, you had a Ben Simmons deflection that led to a Seth Curry three on a 7-0 run for the Sixers that brought the lead back up to 9. You had Trae Young, I think, had a blatant walk there in that second quarter, and Seth Curry then got a bucket. Then Seth Curry and the fans were going crazy, and Seth Curry went boom, responded with a 3-pointer. I don't know how to give enough credit to Seth Curry. I know the defense isn't there, but offensively, I thought he definitely rose to the occasion. At one point in the third quarter, it was Tobias Joel and Seth Curry with 86% of the Sixers offense before the bench actually started to wake up and give you something. So on one end, offensively, I don't know how much I can blame this guy. I get it defensively, but my goodness, man, you nailed it, Justin. Seth Curry delivered tonight in so many big moments where it just wasn't there in game one.
Yeah, just one more point on Seth Curry, because the Sixers need his offense, man, flat out. Atlanta's a lethal offensive team. You need his shooting. He's been really, really good in the playoffs. And it's wild to think that they traded, Richardson for him. I mean, offensively, they're two different players and two different worlds almost. But one of the things I've noticed that the Sixers are doing with him, which is really interesting, is Trae loves to take those wild, logo threes, and when he does miss, that leaves him very vulnerable in transition. So it usually means Ben will rebound or Joel will rebound, and they'll quickly hit on an outlet pass to Seth or somebody else. And Curry tonight hit on a couple key transition threes off those misses that, that's another weapon the Sixers can use if Atlanta wants to play that wild, shooting, 3-point shooting game they love to play. Yes, Trae can hit a lot of those, but when he does miss, the Sixers are going the other way, man. It's usually just Trae back there trying to defend one or two guys. So, yeah, I mean, defensively, you got to live with him. And offensively, man, he's been really, really good in the postseason. There's no questions about that.
Now, I think it's a little disrespectful that we haven't really discussed the elephant in the room here, and that is Joel Embiid.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Joel Embiid scored 40 points tonight on 34 minutes, 13 rebounds, 2 assists on 25 shots, shooting 13 to 25 with a block, which was a really nice block, by the way. 2 steals, 2 for 5 from 3 behind the 3-point arc, and 12 for 16 from the line. Dude, this is all. First of all, this is all on a partially torn meniscus. Like this guy's just like I don't have words. Like someone please say something. I don't have words for what kind of basketball I'm seeing out of this man.
Justin, he got the MVP award from Jokic today, and he's like, "Let me remind the NBA world who's the real MVP of the NBA." He was incredible, man. There's just sorry, Chris, I'll let you take over. But at one point, I started writing down how he's scoring points. Right, so he does in the face-up game, dribble drive, post up, 3-point shooting, free throw shooting. He can get deep post ups anytime that he wants on a bad knee. Capella has no chance of defending him. At what point, what can you do, man? I thought that the guy in the second half, open up that second half, he was vintage Joel, man. And you can't even tell that he's playing with a bad knee. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Joel Embiid had a couple of amazing standout moments here in the first half. There was a play where it kind of was reminiscent where in the first series when Russell Westbrook dunked it on one end and you saw Ben Simmons dunk it on the other end. There was another one here tonight in the second quarter when Clint Capella had a one-handed alley-oop from Trae Young on there's like just a couple of drives in the middle of the paint there, and you saw Joel Embiid on the other end immediately dunk it right back. That was awesome. We saw Joel Embiid step back jumper, Dirk, jump shot, and then there was another play where like Joel Embiid blocked this crazy pass where he broke open a lob, and that led to a Seth Curry 3. That was a major momentum changer. But how do you not talk about the third quarter when it comes to Joel Embiid? He had 9 quick points in the third quarter. He led the team with 17 points in that third quarter, setting the tone. During our pregame, Justin, we talked about setting the tone. We talked about keys to winning game 2, setting the tone. You looked at how the Sixers came out flat in the first game, in the first quarter, in the third quarter, not taking advantage of opportunities. They did it in the third quarter. And that was led by Joel Embiid. If I think there was a one point where Joel Embiid was so good. The Sixers were a -16 in the 6 minutes that Joel Embiid was not on the floor in that first half. That's how good Joel Embiid is. So that's kind of the mystery is when Joel Embiid's on the court, the Sixers are dominant. When he's off, they struggle. And hopefully, the Sixers bench finally gets the ball rolling here moving forward because they need to have a bench. The Sixers starters cannot play an entire game. So, especially moving forward. So, that's my last take.
Something I do want to say is I do feel like although the Sixers bench was bad this game all around, obviously Shake played amazing tonight. The Sixers starters didn't have to play as many minutes as you may think. Like Ben Simmons played 34 minutes, Tobias 36, Embiid 34, Curry 28, Green 25. So in all reality, in years past, you would see Ben Simmons out there for like 40 minutes, 42 minutes at times, and same with Joel. So they still are playing a lot less minutes than they had to in the past. So I think that is a good sign about this team in general.
And Justin, there's one point on that. Like, if we're going to stack starters with starters through 2 games, it's no contest. Like, the Sixers starters are way better than Atlanta starters. So it's a question of how can the Sixers manage those bench minutes. I don't trust Dwight. George Hill's not having a good series. Maxey struggled tonight. So it's going to be a matter of Doc balancing those minutes and getting the most out of Ben, Joel, and Tobias. So, but man, if we're gonna stack starters for starters through 2 games, the numbers speak volumes. The Sixers starters have dominated those guys. So I expect more of the same for the rest of the series.
Yeah. So overall in this game, I feel like there's a few things you saw. Tobias Harris having an amazing first quarter for one, having an amazing beginning of the game. You had Curry, insane shooting from 3. Shake Milton bringing it back in that confidence for the bench unit tonight. Joel Embiid going off, getting to the free throw line. What's up?
I want to, because now we're getting Atlanta Hawks fans, and we have to talk about the Atlanta Hawks fans. 1-1, guys. You guys been pumping your chest for the last few days, and we get this.
Carson. Carson was being cool in the comments.
No. So he feels like that's the result of Trey not being great in this game. This is everything that we talked about in Game 1, where we didn't see Doc adjust until the second half, when Ben and Matisse locked up his ass, and he only shot 3 of 10 in the second half and 1 of 7 from pull-ups. You talk about Matisse Thybulle holding Bradley Beal to 3-11 from the field in the first round. You talk about Ben Simmons holding Bradley Beal to 23 points on 109 possessions, 10 of 25 from the field, 1 of 9 from three-point range. That's what you're going to have to deal with, Carson. Sorry. That used to be a good name until, I don't know, a few months ago. But anyway, I'm sorry, Carson, but here we go.
I don't know where Carson's getting his idea that the Atlanta Stars are killing the Sixers starters. The Sixers starters that are absolutely they had a plus 19 net rating. The Sixers starters did in Game 1, so they averaged plus 19. And then tonight, if you looked on the box scores, every single Sixers starter was a plus 10 or better. So I don't know where he's getting this idea from. It's wild.
No, even the Sixers starters played literally one half of basketball in Game 1 and are still beating your ass, man. Get out of here.
All right. Put the gloves down. Put the gloves down. This is a safe space. The gloves down, everybody. All right, listen. I am cool with having this argument in our next pregame show for Game 3. So, Atlanta, come back for Game 3. We can talk about the matchup. We can get into more of that now. This is the post-game show where the Sixers did beat up on your ass tonight. So we're going to talk about that. Joel Embiid with a 40-point game. Seth Curry shooting the net off the rim, it seemed like. Obviously, I do want to give credit where credit is deserved. Gallinari and Herter had an amazing game for Atlanta, shooting crazy good. Gallinari is one of the most underrated power forwards, in my opinion, in the NBA at times. Like, that guy is just good at everything. So what you guys got, it's a good team, and the Sixers just got you tonight. And I'm sorry, but I do think they're going to get you for the series eventually. But, 1 seed. Sorry.
I will say this, though. It's going to be tough winning there. Yeah, it's going to be tough winning there.
Yeah, go ahead, Thiago. Sorry.
I'm just saying, their crowd is legit. That crowd's gonna be nuts on Friday, man. You gotta give Atlanta credit. Their crowd is insane. So it's gonna be tough to win there, but the Sixers will win there, no question.
Yes, sir. So what did you want to say, Debs?
No, I just wanted to give credit. We're just playing around, man.
Oh, definitely.
Like Herter, Gallinari, that. I said this when we started the post game show. Not enough credit I can give to the Atlanta Hawks players. They were absolutely incredible. I know they. Ben and Matisse did their job against Trey Young. We expected that in Game 2. But my goodness, man, I have been so impressed with the Atlanta Hawks. They are so good. They are legit.
Yep. No, definitely. And listen, we appreciate the Hawks fans coming in here. We love the banter. We love getting in here, talking facts, talking stats. That's what we do here. We appreciate it. Come back if you want more. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you have not already, and follow our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any platform. Go look up the Painted Lines, and that's where we'll be. Please go follow at Mr. Crockpot on Twitter, Dibes. Go follow at T Scabby on Twitter, and please go follow me as well. We are the Painted Lines, and we are here for every pregame and postgame of the playoffs and every other game this season. We appreciate y'all joining us a lot. We appreciate it. And, the Sixers got you tonight, Atlanta. We'll see you in Atlanta, though. All right?
See
you guys for the pregame of Game 3. Everyone have a great night.
Beat your ass.